responsibility to make sure that you're picking up work every 30 days. We do have a weekend work policy. It's important that everyone do their share, and if you're not working a permanent every other Saturday or every other Sunday or something like that, you will get a letter as well from the corporate compliance officer reminding you that there is weekend work that needs to be done in order to stay in compliance. Remember that we have an on-call service 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. The on-call service is to be used for emergent purposes only. By emergent purposes, I mean if your client isn't answering the door, you should use the on-call to call the scheduler and ask if we can help. You aren't to leave your client unless you call the scheduler first. If a client doesn't answer the door, you don't just leave and let us know you've left. You call first and we'll let you know if you can leave. If your client falls, if there's an issue in the home, if you have an emergency and you have to leave early, these are all reasons to call on-call. To call on-call and ask when your time slip is due is not emergent, so you should not do that. It's also important that you remember to be cognizant of the times you're calling. If you are a person who generally works overnight and so midnight you're wide awake and that feels like a good time for you, remember that to someone else midnight is essential sleeping time. So please don't call out of a shift for 11 o'clock in the morning at midnight or 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. That's inappropriate timing. So just keep track of the time and when you're using that on-call. There's a 2-hour call out time window. So if your case is at 10 o'clock, you're going to want to call before 8 o'clock to call out for your shift. If your case starts at 3, you should call the office before 1. Optimally, it's best to call as soon as you know you can't work. So if you know you have a 3 o'clock shift and you can't work and it's 8 in the morning, you should probably call at 8 o'clock and give us more time to find someone rather than waiting right until your shift starts. If you do not have a working phone, you really should not be working shift work. And I say that because if we can't reach you to tell your client is hospitalized, if we can't reach you to tell you that your client has an appointment and doesn't need you that day, it makes it hard for us, and you will not be allowed a 1-hour show if you go to your client's home and we've called to try and tell you not to go and you don't have a working phone, so we can't leave you a message. So it's important that you always have a working phone, and if your phone isn't working, call us and let us know it isn't working and give us an alternate way to get a hold of you. There's a 15-minute late and early policy, meaning that if you get to your client's home, you're supposed to start your shift at 1 and you're knocking on their door at 1:45, please don't call the office and say they're not answering. That client has until 1:15 to begin a 1 o'clock shift. If you yourself are running late, please call us and let us know if you're going to be more than 15 minutes late. That doesn't mean that we're giving you permission to be 15 minutes late every day. That means that if you're running late and you're having a little bit of an issue getting there, and it's every now and again, as long as you're there within 15 minutes, that's fine. It's important as well that you put the correct time on your time slip. So if you are 15 minutes late, it's important that you put, if you were supposed to start at 1, you started at 1:15, put 1:15 on your time slip. If it's a 2-hour visit and you stay from 1:15 to 3:15, that's fine. If you're supposed to start at 1 and you don't start until 1:15, please stay until 3:15. If the client's supposed to receive 2 hours, the client should receive 2 hours, whether you're late or not. If you are late, we also need to know so that we can change our schedule in the computer, because if you don't let us know and the computer says 1 o'clock and your time slip says 1:15, they won't be able to process your time slips in accounting because they won't match. So it's important that you let us know. If I'm going to kind of circle back, if your client doesn't answer the door, please don't leave your client and call us and let us know you've left. There are times we're going to need you to go see a building manager to open that door. There are times we're going to need you to sit and wait while we try and reach a family member. It's important that you adhere by that rule. The last thing I'd like to talk about is working only the scheduled hours that are on your schedule. If you work Monday through Friday 2 hours a day and you left early on Monday, don't assume that you can stay an extra hour on Wednesday. We can't have you doing that. It's important that you work only the scheduled hours. If you want to deviate from your schedule, you have to call the schedulers and get that approved so we can get that in the computer, call family members and that kind of thing. I guess that's it. Thank you for working here at Visiting Nurses. We're thrilled to have you, and we're always here to answer any of your questions. So if I haven't touched on anything that you're still wondering about, find someone and ask the question. Have a nice day.